It's been out of things can only get better.
Hello, everyone. On this beautiful Monday morning, I'm today with James, like every week. How you doing, James?
I'm good. It's been a bit windy, innit? Quite windy.
That was such an English way to say things. A bit windy, innit? Since you love mornings, you love
Yeah.
getting up early. How was your morning so far?
Yeah, it was this big thing in the sky, a big ball of light. I haven't seen that for a while. But it was warm. It was nice. My skin burnt a bit, but other than that, all good.
Your skin burned a bit. I can tell that. I was feeling a little bit like, you know how you're going to ski in Alps or something,
Yeah.
and you're on the iceberg, and it's like it's snowy, it's cold, but it's sunny. It's like very refreshing, and that's how it was today in London City.
Yeah, no, it was definitely an experience. Not one I would like to repeat anytime soon. But yeah, no, mornings, man. Mornings.
Mornings are the way to go, man. We have mixed opinions about that. But okay, speaking of week and what happened, quite a lot of things.
Yeah, quite a few international things. Lots of people met up in the world. A few people, big leaders, have been having a catch up, I would say.
Yeah, they had a catch up. They had a gatherings. They had a tea together. They were doing a lot of things to being nice to be spotted by the press. They were doing also some things which everyone was thinking, what the hell is happening? I think, as some of you know, all loyal fans of BJ, you know that we did the deep dive about the COP29. So before we're going to start with the news of the week, do you want to quickly update because it just finished?
Yeah, so this is the update that came last night on Sunday 24th of basically the result of the COP29 meeting, which basically gives a 330 billion package to developing countries, basically pushing them to use renewables. This apparently was a messy result. Apparently there was shouting, people started putting like tape around their mouths, saying that they've been silenced. Basically, apparently the COP ended with a big round of applause, but everyone said, "Oh yeah, the round of applause was because thank God it was finished, because it was such a messy affair, and no one's happy about it." But
And as we were discussing, not many people actually showed up. The important ones, let's call it.
exactly, yeah, no one really showed up. But yeah, much more on this on Deep BJ, which you can find now on YouTube as Catch Up, where we discuss this properly. And also just a little news that I wanted to mention is the news that John Prescott died, the former Deputy Prime Minister under Tony Blair. But yeah, anyway, back to G20.
It's one of these news which I like to say. Yeah, some dude in Scotland died.
Guy died.
Okay, so I'm gonna start a little bit with what we have on our agenda, starting with G20, and basically I'm gonna put in a little rough idea what they are mainly talking about, and then we can quickly go through each point. They were talking about both ongoing major wars, so the crisis in Gaza and obviously the Ukrainian crisis, global pact to fight hunger, because we are talking about how many, over 730 million people suffering hunger around the world. They were also talking about the taxation to the world's wealthiest people. We're talking billionaires, which is noble that they pick it up, but for that to happen,
Yeah, no, it's gonna take
it's gonna
effort.
it's gonna take a revolution. Basically, a pressure on the global governance to take more responsibility and give the power to people. That all sounds very nicely. But let's start with the war. So the most controversial was what the U.S. will do after recent, recent events in Israel, where the lead of Hamas has been killed, as we know, a few weeks ago, and unfortunately, Biden is still firmly saying that this war is entirely fault of Hamas. They are not respecting the law or the arrest order, which is going after Netanyahu.
Yeah, so the arrest warrant is quite a big story, because this is the ICC, the International Crime Court, issuing an arrest warrant to both Netanyahu and his former defense minister Yoav Gallant. Yoav Gallant? How's my Jewish?
I'm not gonna. I don't want to embarrass you. I'm not gonna comment on it on air.
The former defense minister, anyway.
Yeah, because he's also being chased, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
not only about Netanyahu.
That's right. Yeah. So it's both of these
Gentlemen.
yes, for war crimes.
Yeah.
That's what the arrest warrant is for. Interesting. The U.S. has rejected this warrant. The U.K. has not commented on this, but has said that they'll comply to the commitments to the ICC.
From what I know, it's another topic. We're jumping a little bit right now, but from what I know, Keir Starmer said that once Netanyahu would come to UK, he would be immediately arrested.
He said he would comply to the warrant. He didn't put it exactly on those words, because obviously he didn't say the words Netanyahu or arrest, but
Oh yeah, this is a little charades game.
yeah, exactly. It's the smoke and mirrors.
Well, okay. Well, coming back to it, that was Sleepy Joe had that opinion, because we have to remember this is the last G summit where Sleepy Joe can still take a nap and be the most powerful guy on the planet.
And he's been a messy bitch. This has been quite a big shablam. How to leave with a bang.
Yeah, I mean, like, he's giving presents left and right to friends and enemies.
Yeah.
Well, talking about the other war, he said, now I'm going to quote it: "The United States strongly support Ukraine's sovereignty," that's my brilliant pronunciation, "and territorial integrity. Everyone around this table, in my view, should as well." And then this is quite interesting, because we're talking about like how U.S. is not respecting the ICC order to arrest Netanyahu, but they respect the ICC order to arrest Putin, because he's also on this glorious list of people who supposed to, be tangled to the tree.
What a dinner party would that list be?
Yeah. It would be quite a supper. Yeah, so on this side they have that's also showing the interest of US, how they are shaping the morality the way they want it, and fair enough. I think that what I also notice is that Paulo Velasco, the international relations professor of the State University of Rio de Janeiro, he said, the declaration avoids pointing the finger at the culprits about the Ukrainian and Russian war, which was saying we're all talking about it. We all know whose fault is this. Why we're not pointing fingers publicly?
Yeah, I mean isn't that politics though? It's as we said, from the UK, they won't say the arrest, but they say they'll comply. It's all the wording the politicians say. It's because at least they can easily go back on things that they may or may not have said. I did not have relations with that woman. I mean, what does relations mean? It's it's the language of politicians.
Poor Monica Lewinsky became a victim of this hostile environment. Well, okay, so I would say they were the main things about the war. Now the taxation. So this is interesting story. Brazil has proposed to tax billionaires' incomes, but to increase the tax billionaires by 2%, right? Which is going to be 2% because there is no tax for billionaires yet.
Yep.
And now it's interesting story. They had to vote, right? and Brazilian and Argentine negotiators opposed to it, even though Brazil proposed it. The same people who opposed to it, everyone knows who did it. They were the same people who confirmed it, who voted for it in July earlier on this year, preparing for the summit. But when they oppose, they did it anonymously, because they couldn't express their opinions publicly because of their governments, Argentinian and Brazilian government, different statement.
Interesting. No, it's also, that would be a room I'd be interested to be in, because of course you've got President of Brazil, Lula, who is like very left wing, borderline socialist, who is as you mentioned, quite, wants to tax the rich, wants to redistribute. And on the other hand, you've got the President of Argentina, Milei, who is like the anarcho-capitalist. Be just an interesting room to be in. I'm surprised you're able to talk to each other as well, given the such different political views.
Were you expecting similar energy as it was in the Georgian government? Some black paint,
some hackers.
Okay, well, the last thing which I wanted to talk about before we're going to jump is the fighting hunger. Unfortunately, nothing has been really agreed there. From what I know, they were just political talk. It was just for them to look nice. I just seen some pictures of 733 plates on the beach, symbolizing 733 million people, struggling with hunger issues around the world. Joe Biden going barefoot on the beach with his daughter and assistant, and then going up for a nice little feast. So,
yeah,
I don't know. Do you have some hot news about that topic?
I mean, what I have is a bit what's been happening behind the scenes. Because even though the G20's got their own agenda and it's all the big leaders meeting up, there's so many meetings happening during those summits that have not necessarily about the G20, but it's basically an international relations. It's a tea party, It's a bit like Pride and Prejudice when everyone's having a dance and all the ladies with the fans saying, "Oh, by the way, have you heard about this?" So the first big meeting that happened behind the scenes was Keir Starmer's meeting Xi Jinping. It was the first time they've met, which showed Keir Starmer's new foreign policy towards China. Before, Rishi Sunak and Liz Truss and Boris Johnson were very anti-China. They were saying, China's sort of enemy number one. That's who we really need to be concerned about.
Yeah, because they were even more strict than US, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Like even more than Russia, they said that China was the one to look out for. Keir Starmer, on the other hand, showed sort of a new approach to this. So obviously they're not buddies, they're not best friends, China and the UK now, but there is a more a softer approach to China, a bit similar to, for example, Obama's approach to China, where obviously there might be some tariffs, there might be a bit of tension, but let's try and work together on this. This may be due as well for the green revolution that the Chinese government is doing. I know Keir Starmer wants to get on board with that. It's one of the 5 missions for Keir Starmer is the Great British Energy, the investment fund for green energy. So that might be a new something to look out for, the new changes between China and the UK. But the other big things that happened, and as I said, Biden's been a messy bitch.
I love that we're not gonna let you forget about it till the end of the podcast. So I expect a few more mentions about that.
Yeah, 3 more messy bitches. It's basically Biden agreeing to the sale, agreeing with Ukraine to use long-range missiles into Russia. So before, Ukraine was able to use long-range missiles within Ukraine, so from Kiev to the border, but now they can use it inside of Russia, which has sort of escalated the conflict a bit more. From day dot, once this has been agreed, Ukraine has used the UK's Storm Shadow missiles. So it's basically the long-range missiles supplied by the UK, and that was fired into Russia. As a retaliation, Russia used these experimental new missiles, which I thought a missile was a missile. Well, whatever. There's some experimental new ones that Russia wanted to test it out on Ukraine. Why not? So this is obviously a big escalation of this conflict, because now we're firing across the borders, which, of course, Biden agreed to this. He's only got 2 months left in office. So he's basically left a massive turd on the desk waiting for Trump. Turd that possibly might be World War III, but, we'll see. I don't want to be this doom and gloom, but basically he's given a big task to Trump now. Trump always claimed, sort it out in a day. But now that we've got this escalation.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's case. I'm kind of laughing that I didn't mention it when I was talking about the war. I did notes about everything, and I was like, "This is so obvious. Obviously, I'm going to talk about it."
Yeah, for me.
Exactly. A little dessert. Yeah, no, it's obviously one of the biggest news. Everyone is talking about it because everyone is, there are people in two camps saying, "Oh, finally someone did something about it." The other camp is saying, "Oh my God, that's going to be the escalation, World War III." We have to move on with other things, but I just want to say that I personally don't think it's going to emerge the World War III. I don't think Russia will do that, but that definitely makes it a bit hotter topic, and it's definitely, I think Biden as a fan, one, he's giving this hot potato to Trump's office, but he's also, I think, helping Ukraine to get as much territory and to make Russia as weak as possible, because we already know that they already use these rockets to destroy some ammunition, magazines and stuff like that. So that's already happening. All right, we shall move forward. So what's going to be the next topic? Do you want to kick it off?
I know we mentioned it briefly earlier, but we did have that Netanyahu's arrest warrant for war crimes. I don't know if you have anything else to discuss about that.
Yeah, I mean, like some just facts. Like, so basically, the arrest warrant has been given by the Hague, the court based in Hague. Hague. In Holland. Just if you're still trying to work out my pronunciation, that's in Holland. And it was it was given for both of these guys who were mentioning before, and that's pretty much it. The only thing I would like to add is from the countries because not every country is respecting this, but of course the European affair maker and the troublemaker, and currently still the leader of European Union, Viktor Orban, he already said he couldn't keep it to himself. No. He's a mask of Europe. He was okay. So please, you feel welcome to come to Hungary. We're gonna welcome you with a big hug and a kiss on the cheek. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. It's a fact rather than something to discuss.
Well, one little detail about this, which I found quite funny, is that the arrest warrant is sure for Netanyahu, sure for his former defense minister, but also for the leader of Hamas. Not the current one, the dead one. But because it's not 100% confirmed that he's dead, the arrest warrant is being issued for him as well.
Yeah, because from what I know, it's the arrest warrant is for Mohammed Deif, a Hamas commander. But having chasing dead guys is a is a good use of time and funds. We know what this increase in tax on billionaires will go for. Chasing some dead bodies. Okay, so what is next on our agenda?
Oh, should we go to the States, to the US, just because?
Go on then.
The US is messy at the moment. See, I told you I was going to mention messy bitch again, because we're talking about the messiest person in U.S. politics now, which is Matt Gaetz, who was apparently even too toxic for Trump. Who would have known? Matt Gaetz, of course, former congressman of Florida, resigned from Congress to then become Attorney General. Well, nominated Attorney General by Donald Trump. However, there were many controversies, including this big report of sexual misconduct with possibly minors, allegedly minors. However, this situation got quite messy. Senators were not happy from both sides, Republicans and Democrats. And Matt Gaetz has stepped down from the nomination as Attorney General.
Did he do that? Did he do that himself, or it was kind of like Sleepy Joe who resigned himself? But
I mean, it's like he plummeted down a window. Whether he was pushed or he jumped, it's a different story. But apparently he was becoming too much of a distraction. Now, we don't know if his behavior was becoming a distraction or the report into his behavior was a distraction, but
maybe his tie was too colorful.
Yes. Yeah, it was bugging Trump's eye. But also a little funny detail about this is that within 24 hours of him stepping down as Attorney General, bearing in mind he resigned from being a congressman to become Attorney General. So he jumped the gun a bit early because now he's got no job. And within 24 hours of him stepping down as Attorney General, he started doing cameos.
But wait, is it because I don't know, Dan? Is there a law like the same as we have some very talented business women in our country that you're becoming you're coming to fill the shoes of important politician for 40 days and then you're ending up with fat salary? Is he gonna end up also with some nice retirement fund?
Well, actually no, because he never was Attorney General. He was nominated for it. He was picked for it, but because Trump is not president yet, he's not he never was Attorney General. And he's not a congressman anymore. He's lost all the jobs. He has no jobs.
Nice. And we're looking for someone to work behind the bar. Exactly.
Send your CV over. I'm not, maybe hide the sexual misconduct bits, but
we cannot promise anything.
Yeah, and also it is a bar, so minors are not allowed. So maybe he doesn't want that job.
Yeah, he can be picky. Okay, do we know who's next then? Like who will replace him? Were there any proposals already?
Yes, it's going to be this woman called Pam. I'm trying to see what her surname is.
Pam.
But yeah, Pam.
Like was she acting in Borat and her last name is starting with A?
There she is. She's called Pam Bondi, which I'm not entirely sure, but she might be the first female Attorney General.
No, Kamala Harris.
She was Attorney General of California, not of in the White House.
Wasn't she in the White House? Wasn't Kamala the very first? I don't know if she was first woman in general, but wasn't she first?
I'm not sure, but I mean, the fact that no one knows who this Pam Bondi is does kind of mean it's sort of like a placeholder for Trump.
Okay, so shall we move to another one?
Yeah, it's the last story of the week, and this is, I don't know. It's, we always end with a cutesy one. This, I wouldn't say cutesy because people died, but it's an interesting story, which is the poisoning of and death of 6 people in Laos from methanol poisoning. So methanol is a type of alcohol. It is wood polish. It's fermented alcohol, but not for human consumption. It is used for polishing wood. But apparently in Laos, they've been mixing ethanol, which is normal alcohol, drinkable alcohol, with this methanol. And 6 people have died, including a Brit and a Australian.
Yeah, and I think that's a sad part of the story, that actually it might not have been as loud and widely commented if there wouldn't be someone from country like UK or Australia being involved in this, because basically what experts say after investigating a little bit further is that um, they it's just a tip of an iceberg.
Mm.
That it's not just those 6 people, that there are cases like that before, and that's not the only place which is doing those practices, so you don't really know how many people have died so far, and it's going to be investigated, but it's a bit of a, it's a bit of a scary thing, because you're just going for holidays, and it's like, it's where it happened, it's one of the most popular tourist spots. You could go there, I could have been there, and then well, you wouldn't ask for a drink, of course you would. You're on holiday.
No, exactly. And Laos is quite a party town. I mean, that's where you go and party. Apparently, I was looking at some reports, and sort of the culture there is that, you have some drinking games, you get free booze, free shots, and that's most likely how those people got poisoned, from free drinks. And however, even though there is an investigation, it doesn't appear that the bartenders, the servers, or the actual bars were doing this maliciously. It appeared it came maybe from the factory, or I don't know, some sort of spiking in the production process rather than the actual service. But we'll see. I mean, I've been seeing the reports, and you know how did you know Brits like to drink?
Never heard about it.
No?
I was thinking that I live here for 8 years, and I was always thinking, and everyone who's asking me how it is to live there, I'm like, there are ups and downs, but it's a definitely country of straight edges.
Yes, it's definitely a lot of teetotals here in the UK. So that's why they have to go all the way to Laos to have a good time, to find a pub. And you had a mixture of results. There was the people who were like distressed, like, oh, I came here on a holiday and now I can't have spirits. I have to have beer instead.
I would ask for a ticket refund.
Oh, I would too. But then you've got the other half, which is, the lads like, nah, mate, the people from Laos, lovely people. Of course, I'm still doing shots. I'm on holiday.
Well, it's a bit of a crazy story, because you wouldn't think that it would happen nowadays, but I think it's coming also because of the lack of the regulations of certain countries, and and these are the areas where you see it, because even though it was on the production process, how on earth it didn't go through any checks? Because methanol and ethanol, they're like, obviously I'm not a mixologist or scientist or food scientist, whatever you call it, but from what I know, it's very easy to distinguish which one is which, if you at least know anything about it. Well, hopefully they're gonna be smart about it. They're gonna learn the lesson and not let anyone else die. But I gotta say, it had to be a hell of a party.
It was, what a party. It's,
Look, okay, I think we are sort of done. We stormed through 3 most important and one sad but funny at the same time, a little bittersweet topic. And James, thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Blaze, and thank you, listeners, for joining us again on this lovely Monday morning.
You're going to find this episode of BJ at Lunch tomorrow on YouTube. And, of course, repeat of that 10 a.m. Wednesday. And, yeah, let's stay in touch and have a good start of the week.
Yes. Thank you, Blaze, and see you again soon.
This is a Soho moment. This is SOMO W1 Radio.